Let's go!
New FF7 news. Oh my god, why did it have to be a white screen? Square Enix released new information and screenshots of 7 Remake Intergrade. New title of the episode, episode Intermission. What? Wait, the game is called Intergrade, but Yuffie's chapter is called Intermission? Oh, Jesus, dude. Why? Okay. All right. As well as detailing its characters in combat. Full voice cast. I know who all these people are, and it is of substantial significance. Amidst the confusion of Mako 5's destruction, Wutai makes a move in the city of Midgar. Yuffie and her partner Sonen, 2 elite ninja operatives in the Wutaian government, have been assigned a dangerous mission to steal Shinra Electric Power Company's most powerful materia. And together with Avalanche HQ's support, they cross behind enemy lines to reclaim their homeland's former glory and accept revenge long in the making. And this makes sense, right? This is like when we first talked about FF7, how you could try to sprinkle FF7 characters into the first version of the game. We were like, yo, well, there's clearly opportunities where you can get characters talking about what happened to Vincent. Yuffie should be a spy of some kind already in Midgar, like doing dirty work for Wutai. And the big one I thought was gonna happen, I was like 100% down. I think this is gonna happen, is I thought they were gonna have Sid like storming out of the space side of Shinra, right? The space exploration side of Shinra. And he'd be in a meeting and he'd be super pissed off, like storming his way out because he's not getting any budget for the space program. I was thinking that that was gonna take place, but it didn't ever take place. They don't even mention any of those characters. But I think it's just because they are saving their asses for stuff like this. That's about the gist of it for Sid, but that didn't happen. Anyway, Yuffie styles herself above the ravishing beauty and world-class materia hunter, using her signature oversized throwing star. For agility, she is a force to be reckoned with, determined to reclaim her homeland and former glory, and acting on orders from the government, she sneaks into Midgar. Yes, that is Yuffie, and that is what she looks like. That is accurate. Yep. That's what she looked like in the PlayStation 1 version. Can tell you that. Avalanche's strongest force, which carries out anti-Shinra activities under the ideology of planet life science, unlike Barrett's sect of Avalanche, which chose the radical means of blowing up the reactor. Avalanche is trying to free Midgar from the Shinra company while protecting the lives of citizens. Cooperate with Avalanche HQ in the mission to seize the ultimate materia to build a relationship with the new Wutaian government. ZG? This guy seems so insanely cool. All right. You're definitely gonna have to impress me when it comes to the game itself. We'll go with ZJ. Yeah, I like ZJ. Who the hell are you? Born and raised into the Undercity, member of Avalanche HQ who keeps a close eye on Splinter Cell's comings and goings. After receiving a request for cooperation from the Wutai government, she makes sure that Yuffie, her partner, have the IDs necessary to make it to the plate safely. Axel? What? Billy Bob? Axel? You're in the wrong game, Axel. Billy Bob, member of Avalanche HQ and lifelong Undercity resident, is by far the most experienced of the group, though few would have known it, given his laid-back, how do you pronounce this again? Lazy attitude. Heavy drinker, he can often be found at local bars knocking a couple back, all while surreptitiously gathering intelligence. Generic man. This looks like he came from Final Fantasy Comrades. Is that what it was called? Polk? Undercity born and raised, Polk is the newest member of Avalanche. Consequently, he is often treated as the younger brother of the team, loved and teased in equal measure. While he is dedicated to Avalanche's cause, his current passion is Fort Condor, a board game that's taken the Undercity by storm. What? What? Yo, I get it. I get it. So this is probably going to be used as the minigame basis for what the Fort Condor game is. It's going to be turned into a board game. Here's my big brain prediction. That this Fort Condor game that everyone's playing is actually based on a real story. It's actually based on this legendary Phoenix thing. that some people hear about in the future. And in the future games, that's when that shit shows up. Propaganda board game? Yeah, like, well, something that turned into what essentially is what is now just like a plaything is based on like an old legend or something like that. That's how I presume they're gonna handle that shit. Probably not in this game, but in the future games. There's gonna be some world building around the Fort Condor board game and how it actually relates to the Legend of the Phoenix. Or the Phoenix materia. It makes sense. Oh no! Oh no! Oh god! Oh no! And oh god! He has a render. Oh no! This is at the beginning of the end. You're not wrong, asshole! Known as Weiss the Immaculate, he is the sadistic ruler of Shinra's top secret underground research center, Deep Ground. Fearing his overwhelming strength, Shinra's scientists have restrained him to a throne deep within the confines of this facility. There, under inhumane conditions, he bides his time, waiting to extract his revenge. He's voiced by Frieza? Neat. This is making it sound like he is not a VR battle, right? And we read somewhere else beforehand that, no, it's not that he doesn't know. No, chat. It's not the way the character looks. It's not the way, it's not the visuals of the character. It's what the character represents. What the character represents in the horrible compilation of Final Fantasy VII retellings of some of these stories, where what this represents and how he is used in the story is the worst shit possible. The worst shit. It is so horribly stupid. Yeah, there was definitely a report before that he's like a VR battle. But now, they restrained him to a throne deep within the confines of the facility? I mean, that is like ultimately what Hojo's fucking digital ghost inhabits, right? I get that. And this is sort of like what was down there the whole time. But he's stuck in a plot prison is what they're getting at. The crazy part is that it's like a direct acknowledgement that this shit existed in some way in this universe. This did happen. This happened. And he's down there. Like, he's down there in Gak's dungeon. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. Battle introduction, Yuffie. Yuffie's adept at both close quarters and long-range combat. Press square to strike an enemy with her throwing star. Hold square to continue attacking, yada yada yada. Damn, are these Doom Rats? They're getting fucked up. Yuffie can hurl the throwing star at enemies with triangle. While her weapon is away, press square to perform a long-range ninjutsu attack. The weapon will return to Yuffie automatically after a certain amount of time, but she can retrieve it sooner by pressing triangle. Cute. Okay. The ninjutsu attack initially deals non-elemental damage, but the ability element can change the attack's affinity to fire, lightning, ice, or wind, making it easier to exploit enemies. Cute. Will we ever get to see... Nice. These things are absolutely disgusting looking. Holy shit. What in the hell? I never did get that SS. I did not. That Doom Rat never came back. That dude refused to come back. That's why we waited. That's why we waited for the game to be re-released again. An offensive ninjutsu attack, Banishment, where ATB spent on other commands increases damage dealt. Can be increased to level 1 to 3, and its elemental affinity can be changed with elemental. By the way, chat, it's past April 10th. I'm looking at my watch every single day, waiting for the PC version of this game to get announced. Looking at my watch every day, hoping that the PC version gets announced. I mean, there's some news here. It's good. All this sound, this is of cause of concern, right? For sure. And it's nice to see that Axel is getting a guest appearance in Final Fantasy VII Remake. It really means that Guilty Gear is really appealing to an audience that had not been there before. And now that Axel's getting more work, there's a good chance that, you know, Guilty Gear's just going to get even bigger than before. So good on Axel for making his way out of just the Guilty Gear scape and finally appearing in something pretty big, right? He deserves it. He's been whipping that chain for a hell of a long time. The new 7 Remake Intergrade Famitsu article had an extra line added to their previous released summary. The line is, guided by the calls of the planet, the gears of a new destiny begin to turn. As you fix your gaze upon the world, Your cries couldn't reach your friends. Guilty Gear. That's what I hear. Guided by the calls of the planet, the gears of a new destiny begin to turn. As you fix your gaze upon the world, your cries couldn't reach your friends. Heaven or hell. Duel 1, let's rock! Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, for anyone, there are still 7 doubters, chat, right? There are still people in this world that that doubt that FF7 Remake comes after Advent Children. There are still people that doubt that. They all think it's poppycock, hogwash, as they say. Non-believers. But you can only look at so much shit for so long to get an idea of where Nojima is taking this. And apparently it was a very similar story that they wanted to continue with back in the mid-2000s. So, yeah. For anyone that's curious, Nomura's not really on this project anymore. He's not. He's been off of it for quite some time. They already said they passed the torch of 7 Remake Part 2 to the person that was pretty much the director of FF7 Remake for the most part. And for you guys that didn't know, me and Simmons had already talked about this a lot. It had already seemed that a lot of FF7 Remake didn't really feel like a Nomura game in many ways until some obvious spots. And the co-director of the game is now the main director of FF7 Remake going forward. So, yeah. That is, it already seemed that way, right? There was no way Nomura was directing fucking Kingdom Hearts 3 and this at the same time. There's actually no way. Nomura's a creative producer now? Right. Yeah, that's right. He's not a writer. He's not. Nomura writes Kingdom Hearts. That's what he wrote. Those are the big differences. The people that made FF7 Remake are the same people that made the original FF7. And in very similar roles, which is funny. In fact, I think one of the things you can probably thank Nomura for is the conceptualization of the combat. Not the execution of it, because that was done by very specific people. In fact, ex-Kingdom Hearts 2 devs. Nomura's the guy that really likes action. He's the guy that really likes to inject action, like, all over the place into a lot of his games. And try to, like, you know, evolve these games into big action. And that really showed in FF7 Remake because of how integrated the combat system. I mean, I'm just waiting. I'm honestly waiting for the PC port, and I'm just waiting for this game to come out. Like, at this point, I'm just ready for it to come out. We're gonna be playing Guilty Gear at the same time, a bit before, but we're also gonna start this up in early June. I'll play through the Yuffie DLC first, and then we'll do a full playthrough of the full game, like a full playthrough of FF7 Remake, again, with all the new additions that they add to the game. But man, I hope there's a PC port of some kind somewhere in there, right? Somewhere in there.